back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Pleased to have Jeff Van Gundy from the Worldwide Leader in Sports. How are you, Jeff?
Very well. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm sure you've been talking about this all morning, the subject of Draymond Green. And what would you have done if you were in the role of Kiki Vandeweghe with the NBA, Coach?
I a couple problems. I think the point system is a bit silly, and then I don't think he should have been suspended. If you can wind up and kick a guy like you did with Steven Adams, and then the next guy, and you get in more trouble for tapping a guy than kicking a guy, then I'm not sure how much trust is left by the players and coaches in this discipline system.
So the discipline system as it currently stands with the point system, I know you think that the points should reset for each round, that somebody like Draymond Green should not be punished for the fact that he still has games left to play. So what would you do to change that point system?
Well, I would eliminate the point system. I think it's a foolish system. I think you judge each player by their past actions and by the incidents that occur right in front of you. And Kiki Vandeweghe said that this is not by itself a suspendable incident. And to me, the Adams one was a no-brainer. I don't care about the points. That was a suspension. To me, should have been whether it was one game or 2 games.
Coach, Jeff Van Gundy joining.
Definitely not be a suspension.
Yeah, I think I lost you in the middle of your answer. So let me ask you this question then, Coach. When you're talking about calling something directly in front of you, how does Dan Crawford not blow the whistle right when the two of them were tangling up before Draymond even wound up on the floor? How did something like that happen?
Well, sometimes you try to, away from the play, I guess you're watching to see if they can get themselves under control. Now, you saw him come towards them, but chose not to blow the whistle. The thing that I also don't like all the replays and all that, but I was surprised that they didn't go and review that situation on the videotape and see that action. They missed that action. And so, listen, it's a hard game to officiate. They're under such scrutiny now with all the technology that's available for every angle and every replay that I think it's really a tough job. But I just really, I'm not for playoff suspensions unless it's a no-brainer. And to me, the Adams thing was a no-brainer. This one, I could see going either way, but I don't think you suspend people in the playoffs for things that could go either way.
Jeff Van Gundy joining me here. So do you believe that the NBA took into account the actual lead that the Warriors have in games played right now? I mean, do you think that this is?
I think above and beyond the actual act that they're looking to discipline. And I think that's when things become very complicated. I think that's where you can lose your way. And listen, a lot of these discipline decisions are difficult ones. To me, the Adams one was not difficult. To me, that was a layup that they blew. This one is more 50-50. But I just think if it is, it's such a precarious thing that you don't penalize somebody a playoff game through an arbitrary point system. I just don't agree with it. I think that whole system is flawed.
So what happens tonight, do you think, without Draymond Green in this game?
I think the Warriors win convincingly.
What makes you think that?
I think they're a better team. I think it was proven in the regular season. I think it was proven in the playoffs. And they, as good as Green is, they still have Curry, Thompson, Iguodala, Barnes, and other great depth. So I think I just think they're really good, and I'm surprised people that I've heard discussing it, to me, are not giving Curry and Thompson the credit that they could come in and play another great home game and help this team win convincingly.
Jeff Van Gundy here on the Rich Eisen Show prior to calling the game tonight on ESPN and ABC with Mike Breen and Mark Jackson. So if you had Tyronn Lue one-on-one, private, quiet moment, what do you think is the issue that concerns him most about tonight's game, Jeff?
I think who to play. I think, they still, after that starting group, is it Channing Frye? Is it, Shumpert? How many minutes can he give you? Della Vedova, can he play better? Past their starting five, there's a lot of holes in their depth. And I think when you're going on the road, you want to play your hardest, toughest, smartest players. And I would not be surprised to see major minutes once again by, their best players. But I think he's got to try to figure out who off his bench can really help him.
And before I let you go, Coach, the story that you told in Game 3 off the promo for the OJ documentary, it's a true story that you
Well, first of all, I don't know it's a true. I know what we were told.
What you were told, that when you were coaching the Knicks against the Rockets, OJ's chilling in the car to hear about the outcome of your game that you were coaching at the time.
Right. That's why he was going slow. I mean, that's what A.C. Cowlings told Coach Riley, and that's what Coach Riley told us.
So did you think, as you were telling that story at the time, that people would be talking about that almost as much as the game itself, Coach?
No, it's just like sort of a not even afterthought. It's just what I think of when I think of all that whole night. I mean, it was a surreal night. We're playing in the finals, and we are, there's a murmur in the crowd, and you don't really understand why there's a murmur until afterwards. And then, but after I heard that story, that's every time I see an OJ special or a series, that's what I think of. So
when you were coaching that, you had an inkling that OJ was on a slow speed chase, or before the game, were you aware of it?
No,
not at all.
I mean, we were only. I didn't even know about it, I don't think, until after the game. And I don't know when it started, but I know, we're in the finals at 2-2.
Sure.
We're fighting for our lives against Hakeem Olajuwon. We didn't realize, or at least I didn't realize. I knew something had happened, obviously, because of the murmur, and the crowd was going in and out of the concourse. You could see people. There's a lot of movement. So it was really a weird night.
So just one last thing. So tonight you think there's confetti coming down, and then there'll be a parade in Oakland later this week, based on from what you've seen?
Yeah, I do. I think they're a better team. I think Curry and Thompson, Iguodala and Barnes gives them a foursome that'll be hard to deal with. I think Cleveland's going to have to play a special game. I think they're capable of that. I do think that James is going to have to take and make some jump shots as they cushion him, and that Irving is going to have to play really well. They're capable. But I predicted the Warriors before the series started in 5, and nothing I've seen changes my mind.
Coach, thanks for calling in. I look forward to the next time and throughout the offseason, if not the next playing season, too. Thank you for calling.
You got it.
You bet. That's Jeff Van Gundy.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.